Hi, my name's Phil Groves. I'm the vicar of Stone, Dinton and Cuddington, 3 villages between Aylesbury and Thame in Buckinghamshire. For Lent this year, we're thinking about when we fail as disciples of Jesus. And you might think this could be quite a negative subject, but actually the intention is for you to be energised and empowered. In our studies, we're looking at Peter, one of the most inspiring figures in the Bible, someone who often failed. Peter is someone who many of us relate to. He seems to be someone we would want as a friend, but he is someone who failed not just once, but time and time again. The reason why the story of failing is inspiring is because people who never fail are people who never do anything exciting. The best way to avoid failure is to do what you know you will succeed at. Play everything safe. Imagine not the England cricket team at the moment, the most boring football team you ever heard. Peter discovered that following Jesus was anything but safe. Now, before I begin, I want you to think about the most exciting journey in your life. Now, I doubt if it was the most comfortable. It may not have been a relaxing holiday. It may have been the kind of journey that changed the way you thought about the world. I bet when you think about that journey, it included things that did not go to plan. It may have been a journey that you knew could never have been planned. I asked our Lent group on Monday to tell us about their most exciting journeys, and they all had a story. One person spoke about going to communist East Germany on a terrifying journey with a driver who was cavalier about breaking laws in a notoriously law-driven country and who nearly crashed the car they were both travelling. He seriously thought they'd be in hospital or jail or both. Another spoke of crossing the USA on a Greyhound bus in the 1970s. Quite an adventure in itself. But the story focused on being delayed at a stopover and watching the bus depart with all their bags and everything they had right there on it. Imagine as a teenager in the 1970s visiting Ukraine in what was then the USSR. An amazing but sometimes frightening experience with not much of a guidebook to help you know what to do. As they talked about things going wrong, transport breaking down, accommodation not available, they also talked about something extraordinary happening. The unplanned led them into something they would never have otherwise seen, or more commonly, a relationship with people who showed hospitality and generosity. The excitement of the journey was heightened by the unexpected and the unpredictable. Sometimes we need a holiday by a pool, all our meals prepared for us, but an exciting journey is never going to be smooth and easy. The memorable journey carries with it levels of risk and unpredictability. How true was this for Peter? Well, there he was one day fishing as he always fished in a familiar lake with the same family and friends as ever when Jesus walked by. In the account in Mark 1, chapter 1, verses 16 to 20, Jesus sees Peter and his brother Andrew and simply shouts, "Come, follow me, and I'll send you out to fish for people." Well, it's hard to imagine what's going through Peter's mind. What does this even mean? But he just dropped his nets and followed. The rest of the family may have been a bit annoyed that they needed to clear up, and even more annoyed when he wasn't ready to go out to fish the next day. But they also would have been worried. What is going on? Jesus calls people to follow him today. He called me, and he's calling you. It is rarely as dramatic as it was with the first disciples, but the decision to follow is always a life-changing event. Our Lent group pointed out that it's possible if there are companions on the way. Peter didn't leave on his own. He went with his brother Andrew, and they were soon joined by fellow fishermen James and John. We call our community of companions the church. And the church is not a building, it is the people who follow Jesus. We do gather in a building we call church, and when we do, we come to what is for many of us a safe space. Even if the pews are uncomfortable, we find security in the familiar songs and the words in our services. For us, church is a place of comfort. Jesus gathered more and more people to journey with Peter and his friends, and soon they were witnesses to Jesus healing people and telling compelling stories. They were astonished as Jesus fed a crowd of over 5,000 from 5 loaves and 2 fish. This was great. The community had become a safe place. And then, as it's recorded in Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 to 33, Jesus asked them to do something unusual. He told them to get on a boat and cross a lake as he remained behind to pray. Rowing a boat, familiar to the fishermen, but this evening the winds were in an odd mood, blowing against them, halting their progress, and they became desperate. And it was at this point that Jesus came walking across the water. The friends were confused and amazed, but when he recognised it was Jesus, Peter did something equally amazing. He asked to join Jesus and to walk also on the water. Jesus said, "Come." And so he stepped out, took a couple of steps, and then lost his confidence and began to sink. Jesus pulled him out, saved him, put him back on the comfort of the boat. But Peter had failed because he lacked the faith to continue. The thing is, Peter tried. He had a go. Yes, he failed, but Jesus was there to save him. The boat is the church. It's our safe place. What is interesting is that Jesus wants us to get out of the boat and follow him into places where we will feel uncomfortable. We need our safe space, but we need it in order to go out and engage in a world that needs God. The challenge for us is if we are prepared to go on such a journey that may be challenging for us and for those around us. Now, for you and me, it doesn't mean leaving our homes and physically travelling, but it means we are prepared to befriend people of different cultures, people who think differently from us, rather than just seeking the safety and security of people who are like us. That is the only way that our nation and our world can find reconciliation. We will hear more of what it takes to follow Jesus when we look at another of Peter's great fails next week.